Earth's real charge. Hello viewers and welcome. I'll start with a quote from one of the greatest minds of all time. Quote, "Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple and may as a rule be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone." End of quote. That, of course, is Albert Einstein. My background is electrical engineering, with a BS, an MS, and a PE in electrical engineering. I worked in the nuclear power industry for 22 years. The following are my observations based on research and experimentation. I'll be discussing electrostatic forces. This is a follow-up to my YouTube and ebook, The New Theory of Gravity and Antigravity. New terminology used in the video: nucleopole, petron, etron. They're all defined in the text. Electrostatic force is a non-contact force. It's exerted by a charged body on another charged body. Electrostatics is a branch of physics that shows slow-moving or stationary electronic charges. My goal is to calculate 1, what Earth's real charge value is, and 2, calculate a new constant that includes gravity for Coulomb's law of charges. These values, I believe, are key to explaining gravity and anti-gravity. The formulas we'll be using are Newton's law of gravity and Coulomb's law of charges as follows. Fn, the force Newton's, is times Newton's constant times the mass of the Earth times the mass of an object on the Earth's surface divided by the distance squared between them. Same for Coulomb's. Fc, Coulomb's constant, times Earth's charge, the charge of the object on Earth divided by the square of the distance between them. Fn equals Fc. Another variation, F'N, is Newton's constant times the same mass squared, divided by the distance between them. Same for Coulomb's F'C, Coulomb's constant times the square of a charge that's on the surface divided by the distance between them squared. F'N equals F'C. G, Newton's constant, we all know, is 6.67 times 10 to the minus 11 newtons, meters squared, kilometers over divided by kilometers squared. R is the constant, new constant we're going to be determining for Coulomb's law. Little r is the radius of the Earth. R prime is a variable which we'll be discussing shortly. The following video is about 3 years old. Shows an aluminum pie plate, a paper pie plate, the bottom of a Van de Graaff generator, sphere, and plate levitation. We're going to insert the pie plate experiment video here. Welcome to the levitation video. There are 2 parts to this video. 1 showing an aluminum pie plate and 2 a paper plate. You are looking at a platform supporting the aluminum pie plate. Above that is a glass insulator plate and the bottom of a Van de Graaff generator sphere. After the generator is turned on, the platform raised, the pie plate will levitate. When the generator is turned off, the pie plate will fall back. Now let's do the same with the paper plate. As a viewer, you may be thinking that this is just nothing more than polarization. I would agree, except all items on Earth are already polarized because of Earth's large negative charge. That attraction, as a result of those charges, is called gravity. Therefore, all that's left to explain this is depolarization, levitation, or weightlessness. Let's now return to the narrated text. The video experiment resulted in values used to calculate a new constant R for Coulomb's law to account for the effects of gravity and Earth's real charge. I keep turning my cursor backwards here. Review some of the experimental values and from the video. The amount of lift, 4.13 times 10 to the minus 2 kilometers. Spark voltage, just about negative 47,000 volts. Pi plate mass, 1.43 times 10 to the minus 3 kilograms. And the sphere charge, 9.9 times 10 to the minus 7 coulombs. The sphere radius is 0.19 meters. Calculate the pi plate charge, QP, even though with equal electrons and protons we have been taught there is no charge. So how can the pi plate have a charge? The answer is called nucleopoles and explained in a few minutes. To start, find the pi plate charge using Newton's law between Earth's mass and the mass of the pi plate to determine the force on the pi plate. This force is called gravity and is the force that pulls all objects downward toward Earth's center. There's the formula, Fn, taking into consideration not only Newton's constant, but the mass of the Earth, the mass of the pi plate divided by the square of the distance between them. These are the values that I've inserted, and you can pause and figure that yourself. However, the answer I came up with was 1.39 times 10 to the minus 2 newtons. Now, this is the same force between Earth's charge, QE, and the pi plate charge. Fc, which is the force in coulombs, is Coulomb's constant, charge of the Earth, charge of the pi plate divided by the distance between, and there's the answer, 1.39 times 10 to the minus 2 newtons. It's equal to Fn. However, to solve Newton's law, Coulomb's law, beg your pardon, there are two unknowns, one being the constant R and the other Earth's charge. I'll get it right yet. Using Newton's law, find the force between two identical pi plate masses, 1 meter apart. Next, use Coulomb's law to solve for the same force between the charges of the two pi plates 1 meter apart. Oh good, I got it right this time. F prime n is equal to Newton's constant times the square of the pi plate masses divided by r prime squared. There's the values. You can plug them in, pause, come up with your own answer, but my answer is 1.34 times 10 to the minus 16 newtons. F prime c, there's the formula, equal to the same value. You can solve for the square of the pi plate with that formula next, and then when you take the square root, you end up with the pi plate charge in terms of r. Now calculate r. Coulomb's law, using Coulomb's law again, but now between the experimental sphere charge in the video, Qs, and the pi plate charge. This force is the same as Fn, as we calculated before, 1.39 times 10 to the minus 2 newtons. And we come up with an Fc. There's the formula. Golly. R prime is the same as the pi plate lift in the video. 4.13 times 10 to the minus 2 kilometers. Qs is the sphere charge equal to the sphere voltage times the sphere radius divided by Coulomb's original constant equal to 9.9 times 10 to the minus 7 coulombs. We're using Newton's original constant because there's no gravity involved. Now solve for r, the new constant. Changing the forms of the formulas, we can find that r is going to be equal to 1.2 times 10 to the minus 8 r to the 1/2. R to the 1/2, after substituting and solving, is going to be equal to 1.99 times 10 to the 996 times 10 to the minus plus 9. You take the square root and end up with a new constant for Coulomb's law of 4.4 times 10 to the plus 18 newtons meters squared divided by Coulomb squared. Now using the new r to solve for pi plate charge and Earth's charge, the two unknowns mentioned earlier. The pi plate charge needs to be, here's the formula, all you need to do is substitute in the value of r to the 1/2, and then you take the square root and you end up with 6.01 times 10 to the minus 18 coulombs, the pi plate charge. Earth's charge. Use the same formula that we've used in the past between Earth's charge and the pi plate charge divided by distance between them, which would be the radius of the Earth. You come up with the same value we had before, minus, in this case, minus 1.39 times 10 to the minus 2 newtons. We know what the pi plate charge is. We know what r is. Substitute those values, and we come up with a charge of the Earth is a minus 2.4 times 10 to the plus coulombs. This is Earth's real charge, which is the topic of this video. Notice that the charge is much larger than that found in the internet, or a charge of minus 4.5 times 10 to the 5th coulombs, which is based on 100 volts per meter at Earth's surface. What's missing in this answer is the charge of the positive atmosphere that is canceling Earth's charge such that In between the two charges, you end up with a very small number, like 0 to 100 volts per meter at Earth's surface, meaning 4.5 times 10 to the 5th coulombs is not correct. Now the big question, what's a nucleopole? Nucleopoles, from the word nucleon, are the reason all materials have a charge. This charge, coupled with Earth's charge, results in gravity. What I'm saying is that gravity is nothing more than the attraction of unlike static charges as a result of nucleopoles. Also, by nucleopole manipulation, levitation can be accomplished. Nucleopoles are dipole-like structures inside nucleons of all atoms. They are composed of a p-tron, from the word positron, with a positive charge, and an e-tron, from the word electron, with a negative charge. A p-tron points to Earth's negative charge, and an e-tron points away. Opposite charges attract each other. As shown in the pie plate experiment, nucleopoles can be manipulated or reoriented to achieve weightlessness or levitation by placing the correct negative charge and distance above the weight, in this case the pie plate. This causes the nucleopoles to flip, and the p-tron is now attracted to the negative charge above, while the e-tron now repelling Earth's charge by pointing toward Earth. Nucleopoles are all identical and contain the smallest charges in the nucleon, that is, a positron and an electron. Nucleopole existence became clear to me due to certain radioactive processes called beta decay and beta capture. Beta meaning an electron. During beta decay, a neutron gives up a negative charge with a mass of 2.3 times 10 to the minus 3 kilograms, and the neutron becomes a proton. During beta capture, the proton gains that negative charge and mass and becomes a neutron. I suggest that the negative charge and mass combine with a positive charge and equal mass in the proton to become a nucleopole with a mass of 4.6 times 10 to the minus 30 kilograms and converts the proton to a neutron. Correspondingly, the number of nucleopoles in a neutron is the neutron mass divided by the nucleopole mass, or approximately 364. This means the proton would have approximately 363 and a half nucleopoles. Here's a footnote. Nucleopole flipping, or levitation, has been shown historically to also be caused by musical instruments or high-frequency sound. This method is not part of this video. My goal, as stated earlier, has been completed in that 1. The Earth's real charge, minus 2.4 times 10 to the 10 coulombs, and 2. The constant for Coulomb's law charges with gravity is 4 times 10 to the 18th newtons mass squared divided by Coulomb squared. Future videos that I plan, proving all weights, I'll get that thing right someday, proving that all weights have charges and the charges required to levitate them. Number 2, find the charge needed to levitate a 4,000-pound car. Number 3, find the charge required to levitate a battleship. USS Oklahoma BB-37 weighing 27,500 tons. Now, if a BB-37 can be made weightless, there's no limit. The challenge is creating a large enough negative charge. For those of you who have ebooks, there are some corrections. There's 3 corrections on 3 pages, And if you have your ebook available, please pause at this time, and you can change them up, or you can come back later and put those corrections in there. To close, you have heard more of my theory. Add your questions and comments in the comment section below. If you find my ideas interesting and choose to support my efforts, research, and more videos, please see the video description area for links, including Buy Me a Coffee. Thanks for your time, interest, and consideration. GravityGuy@AOL.com.